Josh Allen, quarterback supreme, leading the Bills to the top of the league. Weapons by his side, and that defense hella mean. Buffalo's got a team that must be seen. I said Buffalo's got a team that must be seen. Yes. Come on. J17 leading the charge. Buffalo Bills on the rise. Passing game on point. Ain't no mirage. Happening right in your eyes. Ain't no surprise. Buffalo second to QB. Stephon Diggs holding in the pass. Group cars in having go deep. We're circling wagon. Just wait and see. From Wyoming to the NFL, Josh Allen's got the skills. Air raid, deep ball, touchdown for real. Leading the Bills to playoff drills. Real time, this ain't no drill. Cold game, we're giving them chills. Check the score, now you know the deal. Nickel City Mafia.
What is up, Nickel City Mafia, on this beautiful Sunday evening here in Southern California? I don't know how the weather is for you there on the East Coast, Jake, but how you doing,
really
my friend?
Really, really hot today, Mike. Myself and my wife, we tried to take the little one to the playground today, and it's a newer playground, so it's on like this rubbery turf stuff.
Oh, yeah, I've seen those.
And I'll tell you what, it was in the 90s today. That's what it said. That's what I read, or it said it felt like the 90s. So it did just rain, so cooled it down a little bit. But it was a hot one today, but I can't complain. Summers in Western New York are absolutely gorgeous, as you know. And greatest time of the year right now. We're coming up. I mean, actually, the real greatest time of the year is football season, but we're getting close.
Yeah, we are getting close. We got a little bit of a delay right now. I mean, they're in between mandatory mini camp and training camp. He said, suck it up. I love it.
You're right, Sammy. We got to build some character. You know what? She's supposed to be this gritty, slot receiver like her dad. I mean, I don't know what the hell's going on here. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, so we got about a month before training camp starts, and we're gonna, you and I don't take a lot of time. We do various shows, but we don't take a lot of time to just kind of talk about what's up, what's going on in the news with the Bills and anything else that might be happening related to Buffalo or anything else. So this is our opportunity now. This is Sunday, nice casual conversation. And, I mean, we've been getting beat up by opposing fans the past couple of weeks. Nah, they've been actually very good. We had a show about the Chiefs. We had a show about the Dolphins, the Jets. So you get a lot of opposing fans coming in there. But for the most part, they're all fantastic. And Jake and I love chopping it up with them. So good stuff there. We're going to do the Bengals comparison this Wednesday. So another fan base going to be coming for us, Jake. Are you ready for it?
Oh, I'm ready. I cannot wait. I think they're going to be really coming at us hard too, Mike, especially after beating us in the playoffs. I mean, we don't have much to stand on with that one. They technically beat us twice this year if you really want to count that other game. But
True.
Yeah.
True. So a couple of things I want to just catch up on. You didn't hear a lot about this, but Von Miller, every year, for the 7th year in a row, he's hosted what's called the Pass Rush Summit. And this was hosted, at least this year. I don't know if he does it every year in Vegas, but it was hosted in Vegas this year at the M Resort. And what's cool about that is that Von's out there. He's actually sharing his knowledge. He's helping teach the younger guys. But there's other guys that are out there that are just studs. Micah Parsons, for instance, is there, right? Max Crosby, he's in Vegas. He should show up, right?
Yeah.
And support Von. But it's great to see Gregory Rousseau. I know this is his 2nd year in a row going to that. And then Daquan Johnson was also there, which is fantastic. You got an interior defensive tackle, my friend, wanting to go learn some moves from the great one.
Freaking incredible. Hey, you gotta pay respect to those noses.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, that guy, Daquan Jones, probably the most underrated defensive lineman on our team right now. So love that he's out there. And, just hope he's healthy and he can stay along for the ride with us. We do have Poona Ford as well. I don't think he made it out there. He's probably focusing on eating some burgers right now, but I'm okay with it.
Burgers? He should be focusing on chicken wings. Come on now. And
we'll
buffalo
get to that.
pizza. Yeah, we'll get to that. Also, Jeffrey Simmons from Tennessee was there. Bobby Wagner. Nolan Smith from Philadelphia. Malik Reed from the Dolphins. Fantastic way. If you're wanting to be the best at your position, what better place to go and just chop it up with these guys and learn some pass moves, learn some techniques. That a good blend. Like you got Micah Parsons. He's been all pro his first 2 years in his career. So that's a fantastic opportunity there. So good stuff. We were going to talk about Von Miller's optimistic view of returning week 1, but we're going to save that for when Blake can join us. So that'll be fun discussion there. Because I'll tell you what, Von Miller's probably the most, what do you want to say? Not opportunist, optimistic. That's the word I was looking for. He's the most optimistic person I've ever seen.
Yeah, you know what? He does a really good job at kind of steering the ship and kind of maintaining course. You know, anytime there's been this behind the scenes drama or anything, whether it's the Steph Diggs stuff or, you know, talking about the Bills last year, mid-season, how we're imploding and all this other stuff, he's always been able to kind of like take the pressure off a little bit, saying, you know, he's been in these situations before. I think he's put a lot of our minds at ease too. So just love the guy, and him saying he's going to be back week 1. I wouldn't doubt it, Mike. I know he wants to go week 1. But I think that's really up to the team doctors and Sean McDermott himself, because we know how cautious he really is when it comes to types of injuries like that. You know, we saw what happened with Trey White last year. So really curious to see how he handles it, whether he'll just limit workload, which I'm sure he will at first, or if he's just going to go full bore right from the get-go.
Yeah, I have a lot of information on that. But like I said, I'm going to hold out to Dr. Blake can join us.
Love it.
All right, so what else is going on? So training camp is starts July 26th, and tickets go not on sale, but they're available online tomorrow. Training camp obviously is going to be at St. John University. It's been there, I think, the last few years, right?
St. John Fisher, yeah. So their facilities are absolutely beautiful, and they're not far from Oak Hill Country Club, which is where the PGA Championship was just hosted. So
awesome.
I know Josh Allen talks about playing with Brandon Beane, and they have a little battle going on between each other. I think Josh is leading the series in the amount of wins he has and the one-on-one golf tournaments they've had. But it's an awesome experience. If you can get out there, you got to do it, because it is just so damn cool. And Josh loves signing autographs for kids. You know, if you're an adult, don't wait for football in front of him. Just appreciate the greatness that's upon you. He will sign for kids, though. It's freaking awesome.
Jake, you have a beautiful daughter. You can take the daughter with you.
Ooh, wait a
put
minute
that beautiful football in her hand.
Yeah.
And how can he ignore her? He's going to have to sign that football.
And she knows who Josh Allen is. She knows.
Her
like,
dad
we look
looks
at this,
like
you can't see it, but we look at this standee every day, and she'll usually say Josh, or she'll say Dada, which is kind of cool.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. We learned last year, because my son Brandon was at the training camp, and he did everything he could to get a nice football.
Hard, man.
He ran down that line 3 or 4 different times, and Josh wasn't having anything to do with it. He just wanted to cater to the kids, which is fantastic. But
I love that.
If you have a cute little kid like you do, take advantage of that, Jay.
Oh, for sure.
Anyhow, the link is in the description of this show. You can click on that. You can get all the information. It's available for season ticket holders starting at 9 a.m. and at 1 p.m. it becomes available for the general public. So check it out. It's a great opportunity. It looks fantastic. I've seen pictures from my son. I've never been to a Bills training camp. I did get tickets last year to go see the Rams at training camp. So I was trying to get some inside information. Great experience. So if you've never been to any training camp, you should. And Jake, you're right there, man. You need to get out there, get a selfie with Josh.
I can make that happen.
Let him see his doppelganger.
Maybe I'll leverage the conversation we had with Andre Reed.
Yeah.
Say, listen, I know Andre. Andre said he was going to talk to you. I don't know if he has yet, but here I am, So
anyhow, that'd be cool. Let's make that happen. Seriously, I'm going to try to get tickets tomorrow. You try as well.
Hell yeah.
And if we happen to get one, you need to make a day of it.
Oh, I absolutely will. Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be one of these weekends, most likely. Right now, in the process of going to be moving into my new house here pretty soon, Mike. So this all behind me here, this is going to go away for a little bit, but I'm going to have an even better setup in the new house, and I am so fired up for it. You're going to freaking love it. I promise you that.
Oh, I can't wait. I can only imagine right now. Hey, Antonio. Yeah. We haven't seen Antonio.
What's up, Antonio? Yeah,
good to see you out there. Yeah, so other big news this past week, I think it was, this is the most current news, is Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott extended until 2027, which is pretty cool. I mean, that is the year before Josh Allen's contract is up, at least this contract right now. Yeah. It's also going to give him a year at the new stadium, which is pretty cool. And I'm loving it. I know some people I heard were saying, why now? Why so early? Look, these two have been doing fantastic things for the Buffalo Bills, for the community. I'm in it. I'm all for it. What's your thoughts?
It's funny. Like, how fast are we to forget where we were 7 years ago, even? Or you go back to 2016. Yeah, it was 7 years ago. So crazy. That's 7 years ago. Gosh, we're just down in the dumps. Every year, we're just basically assuming we're going to go 7-9 or worse. And we weren't even expecting to be in the playoffs. We were just counting on who would be in the Super Bowl, and as long as it wasn't New England, we were pretty much happy. So, here we are. We made the playoffs now, 4 straight years, and obviously we're not getting the results that we want in terms of getting a Super Bowl victory. But Sean McDermott comes in unexpectedly. The Bills break that 17-year drought, and obviously he's gotten us close. And I know close isn't good enough, but also just like remember where we came from. Do you want to just cut all that loose? Like, obviously the players have bought in. The players really do like Sean McDermott, from my understanding and from most people's understanding. And I love what Brandon Beane's done. So I'm happy with the extension. I am good with it. I know a lot of people are like up in the air about it, saying, why are you doing it now? Like, give him another year here. Like, if he doesn't win a Super Bowl this year, we should cut ties. Like, I get the side of that, but also, I don't know, man. Like, let this play out. And, I have faith. I have a lot of faith.
Yeah. I mean, they brought Josh Allen in. Let them ride it. Let them ride Josh Allen to his next contract.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm all for it. And again, if anything, McDermott has a little bit of pressure on him this year because he is doing the defensive play calling. And if anyone who's really going to be under the microscope, it's going to be Dorsey.
Yep.
If anybody doesn't make it through 2027 with McDermott and Bean, it'd be Dorsey. So I think there's a short leash there, and we'll see how that plays out. But I have all the faith in this coaching staff, and again, we'll see how it plays out. But I'm happy for it.
Hey, catching up on some comments here. I love what my dad said.
Yeah.
Just trying to leverage my boss into taking us down to St. John Fisher, working from there.
Ooh,
don't tempt me with a good time. Don't tempt me with a good time. That's all I got to say. Freaking love it, Dad. Keep it going. Sam says, Big Al, OMG. Great idea. Love it, Sam. Let's make it happen. And Antonio coming in saying, yeah, and I agree. I think a lot of people have sort of put him on the hot seat, but now he really is, because he's taking all the defensive play calling and putting it on his shoulders. So there are no excuses now. You cannot scapegoat Leslie Frazier. You can't do it. I expect a lot more aggressiveness from this defense, and I think this is the opportunity now. We've brought in some really good players this offseason, Poona Ford being one of them, Leonard Floyd, Taylor Rapp. So let's make it happen. I'm really excited about it.
I mean, if you want to split the two and talk about them, I mean, Bean, in my opinion, has done everything possible to get the right talent on this team. Everything possible. The talent is there. Now it's up to the other coaches, including McDermott, to bring it home. And again, like you just said, McDermott taking on more responsibility, no excuses this year. Even if they don't make it, the fact that he's extended to 2027, he's at least got another year or two. Sure, I mean, just because you sign an extension through 2027 doesn't mean they can't cut ties with you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
If the ownership wanted to, they can cut ties. I've seen it done many, many times.
Right.
So, but anyhow, I'm happy. Let's get it out of the way. Let's focus on football and bring home the win. I love what Sam's saying. Fix the offensive line, and we will win it all. Good point. We've talked about that.
It was certainly an issue last year. I think O-line and weapons really were the two biggest focuses this year going into the offseason, and I think we helped both. So, what we did there, I'm very happy with.
So I want to just say, so we did a show about the Chiefs just recently, and some of the fans came in and gave Jake and I a little heat because we were saying their offensive line took a little bit of a dip because they lost Orlando Brown. They brought in so they basically are swapping out their tackles. Both their tackles have moved on. Orlando Brown has moved on to the Bengals. Oh my goodness, that's scary. But basically, even though tools like PFF scored Orlando Brown really high, they didn't agree with it because he gave up some of the most pressures in the league. One gentleman made a good point, though. He said the gentleman who's guard. Who's the guard who played next to Brown?
Joe Thuney.
Thuney. He says having a an all-star like that next to you can make any tackle better. So one of our biggest concerns is Spencer Brown. Who did we draft? Osiris Torrance.
Yeah.
If that man comes in and does what we think he's going to do, he will also help out Spencer Brown's game. So hoping, right? That's all we can hope for. But I do think they've improved the O-line big time.
Absolutely. I mean, you look on paper, how can you not say that they haven't improved the offensive line? It just doesn't make sense to me. We get a first-round talent in the second round. We signed Connor McGovern, who has starting experience, played pretty well for Dallas last season. And then, of course, we maintained a lot of guys, and we're getting Ike Butker coming back too, who hopefully will be fully healthy now. So I think there's a lot of positives when you look at it. And I know, hey, we didn't sign these world beaters or anything like that, but we signed good, solid players. And from what we've understood from these Super Bowl winning teams, they didn't necessarily have the best offensive line, but they had a very solid offensive line. So I'm very happy with the moves that we made, and I think we've definitely done a lot to improve it there.
Yeah, including signing one of the top prospects at guard.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? In the second round, we got
a guy
him.
that I was mocking in the first round too, in several early mock drafts. But
so were a lot of people. So it's going to be interesting when camp starts just to see how Torrance does. I mean, it's Torrance or Bates. Ryan Bates could start the season if Torrance isn't quite ready, but it could be a Spencer Brown situation where, in his rookie year, I think it was game 2 or game 3, and not quite sure when, but he got to start early into the season. We could see that from Torrance as well.
I agree.
We catch up on the comments. By the way, if you're new to the channel, like we always say, like, comment, and drop a nickel on that subscribe button. We so appreciate you. One thing I've been telling people lately, because we want to thank all of you, we got monetized. Jake and I are now monetized, Nickel City Mafia, as of 2 weeks ago. And we're looking forward to it because, Jake, what's one thing we've always liked to do? Give back to people, right? We've had some incredible giveaways. We've had some sponsors, all that good stuff. So by getting some money earned on the channel, we're going to probably use that to give back to the people that support us, which we love to do. So we appreciate all of you, and thank you for helping us get there. It's been a journey, 2 years, a little over 2 years, Jake. Lots of hard work. We appreciate
it's crazy,
everybody.
Mike, and I appreciate the hell out of you for bringing me on. When I started with Nickel City Mafia, I think we were at 67 subscribers, and I've been able to watch the progress of our whole channel, everyone, Chris, Rick, Tony, all of our contributors with Brett and Sean and Keith now and Chris, and it's just been awesome. So I love it. It's a really great community that we've created, and for everyone that tunes in, every week, we really appreciate it. Antonio, one of the OGs, he started watching us a long time ago, so we appreciate the hell out of you. And then my dad, of course, Sammy V. Yeah, Big Al, one of the biggest supporters of Nickel City Mafia. Always ask me when we're going live.
Yeah,
it's just been great.
I'm always happy to see Big Al because he's been one of the originals out there watching us day in and day out. When I don't see him, I worry. But like you said, he's living his life. He's in retirement.
He always watches it, but it's either, if he doesn't watch it live, it's after. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So first of all, every one of these Sunday shows, we're going to ask the channel a question. This is a hot topic because we go back and forth, but I need the channel to chime in, whether you're watching this now, whether you watch this on the replay. What's your favorite wing place to go and why? And I know Jake already is going to say Bar Bill. I know I think he's got some sponsorship with Bar Bill. I don't know. He loves the place.
We got to make it happen.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Wouldn't that be cool? Every Sunday, a new wing place sends me a platter of wings, and I can say, not that I need this, but wouldn't that be cool? Sample a different platter of wings every Sunday. That'd be freaking sweet.
Oh my God!
Now I do plan on doing a little wing trail video for the channel, so stay tuned for that.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason we were asking these questions because we do this type of little video for people. We want to make sure we're bringing the best to Buffalo. There are a lot of, it's hard to find a bad place that serves chicken wings, really.
Yeah, you won't survive.
You will not survive.
Yeah.
So anyhow, for the channel, your favorite place to get wings. If you're not in Buffalo and you have a wing place around you, wherever you may be, I know Antonio, I believe, is in Atlanta, right? I think.
Yeah, that's right.
Antonio, are there any wings out in Atlanta that you can go to and get something halfway decent? Out here in California, they like to have, they have the Buffalo Wild Wings and some other places. Not that good when you go there. Let me just tell you. We have a place called Epic Wings. Not epic in my book whatsoever. All right, so we're going to have a little fun here. I have some questions for Jake. Jake doesn't know these questions, but they pertain to the Buffalo Bills. And Jake, before I get into these questions, was there any news that you wanted to talk about that I haven't mentioned? Oh, I did have one. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We should ask this. We don't need to beat it to death. It's already been beat to death. But I'll ask you a quick one of these questions. Has the Stephon Diggs drama been squashed?
I don't know. Now, I think actually I was talking to my dad about this earlier. I feel like people are just throwing stuff at the wall right now, just trying to get some clickbait, get some views on their article or tweet or whatever it is, Listen, we're not in that locker room. None of us are. Like, no one that's writing about this is. Maybe they have some outside access, but like no one really knows what's going on. Now, I think if it was a really serious issue, Steph probably would have left and not have come back. He probably would have held out or did something, and I know it was probably impossible to get out of his contract or have them trade him because there's just too much cap that's being held under the gun with all this stuff. You know what I mean? So I just feel like, they're working through some things. Obviously, the play calling issues, and I think it's just natural frustrations. And as a star player on this team, as a captain, I think he wanted a little more say in what they were going to be doing and what their future looked like. And now they go ahead and extend Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott. So it's like, I'm sure he wants a piece in this as well. So I feel like maybe that's part of it. I don't really know, though. I don't want to speculate anymore. I think it's just been beaten to death. And I think it's been made so much bigger of a deal than it actually is. And I think the players have tried to say that, obviously the way that things were handled and how it's sort of just been spun is just incredible. And it's just overkill. It's way too much, but I think we're fine.
I agree. Enough said. Like I said, there's been so much talk about it, and we need him to win a Super Bowl. And I fully trust that he'll be there and help us get there.
I mean, you go back.
At least try as hard as you can. The dude is so competitive. Come on now.
For sure. He's not pulling a Terrell Owens where he's throwing his quarterback under the bus and doing sit-ups in his driveway and holding out and then not attending team meetings and getting yelled at by none of that's going on. Okay. Yeah. So we can just pump the brakes a little bit on this. Let this play out. I think they're going to smooth some things over. It's like a relationship. It's like a marriage. You work through some stuff. Maybe not every day is the greatest day in the world. Listen, I idle in the doghouse 24/7 with my wife, but hey, we figure it out. It's all good,
Especially when you say I got a show tonight, honey.
Oh, I told her, Mike, this is going to keep it real short. So we're already at 23 minutes. I don't think we're going to hit that 30-minute mark.
I better get into the questions here. So these next 4 questions can be quick. It all depends on how fast Jake talks through them or answers them. And this is also for the channel. So Jake, what position group are you most interested in watching to see who makes the 53-man roster?
Ooh, wow. Wow, this is good. I would say receivers. I think that is definitely a hot topic, especially with us drafting Justin Shorter. That really kind of throws a loop into things. The nice part with him is that he presents a size advantage. And I think there's no way we don't keep a guy like that. Like, the only other guy that's 6'3" or above is Gabe Davis. So I think you got to keep a guy like Justin Shorter. But then what happens with the other receivers? Like, do we keep 6? Are we going to keep 7? So that'll be really interesting to see how that plays out. And I want to see what happens with the starting slot receiver position, who we run out with. Our 3 receivers. It's going to be Steph Diggs, Gabe Davis, and then who? Will it be Deontay Hardy? Will it be Trent Sherfield? Will it be Khalil Shakir? Will it just be a mix of all 3 rotating in? I don't know.
Will it be a tight end in the slot?
Will it be a tight end? Yeah.
12 personnel, maybe.
There's so many things you can do, and I know a lot of it is probably just going to be straight up eye candy at times, but I really hope that Ken Dorsey capitalizes on this and really utilizes those guys. We talked about in our last show with the Chiefs how you'll have these weapons out there and they'll put guys in motion, and a lot of times the motion is just more of a distraction to throw the defense off, and they don't even focus or feature the guy in that play at all. I want to see some of that. I want, the Chiefs actually do feature that guy in the play when they put him in motion. Yeah. So I would like to see some of that this year. So definitely receivers. And on the other side of the ball, I'm going to go corners because, we talked about our boy Cameron Dantzler. He's coming in now. He's going to compete a little bit. We got Dane Jackson kind of in limbo here. Christian Benford, is he going to convert to safety? We have so many safeties on the roster now, so I think he's probably going to stay at corner. You still got guys like Saron Neal and Even Cam Lewis, who did convert to safety, does it go back to corner? I mean, there's so many different things that can go on there in the cornerback room. How many guys do we keep too? Super intriguing to me.
Yeah, for me, it's the cornerback room. I'm afraid we're going to lose someone that we like. For me,
Yeah.
I like Cam Lewis, and I'm afraid there's just not enough spots to keep everyone, and we may lose somebody that we really like. So that's what I'm most interested in. All right,
Yeah.
let's get on to the second question because we're under the gun here. Jake, who do you think has a breakout season? And this is also for the channel. Every question I ask Jake, please, channel, chime in. Who has a breakout season?
You know, he said his breakout season was technically last year, but I'm going to say Greg Rousseau. He's going to benefit so much from Von Miller and Leonard Floyd being on this team. And then you got the interior guys now. I think he's going to have a monster year. He is third time's a charm. Third year, he's going off this season. I think 12-plus sacks this year, Mike.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, he was at that
He was at the Pass Rush
Summit.
So
Big
there you
Al
go.
saying, I hope Dorsey watches film on KC. Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the big differences that Jake and I talked about between the Chiefs and the Bills last week is that coaching staff and their ability to, you got to read the best play caller in the game, their ability to adjust when things aren't going right. I mean, it's incredible. So, yes.
It's unbelievable.
Big L, totally agree. All right, for me, I got two. It's Elam. I see Elam finally getting that starting position, hopefully, and having a breakout year. And then the other one is Gabe Davis. It is his contract year. What happens in a contract year?
Yep.
The switch goes on, and people
speculations going on right now that he may be extended before the season starts. So that's kind of interesting too.
Okay. All right. That is very interesting, actually.
Yeah.
All right. Next question for the channel and Jake. Who are you predicting to take the starting linebacker spot next to Milano?
I think it's going to be Dorian Williams. I just feel like he is too good not to be on the field, and the coaches are going to see that, especially in training camp. You throw the pads on, it's going to be a totally different ball game. Listen, everyone can be good short kings, quote unquote, right? They're wearing the spandex. They look great out there. They look good fundamentally wise. They're moving real well. Then you throw the pads on, it's a totally different game. So that's where he's going to shine. That's where people are going to see, wow, this dude can play in this league. And I know a lot of people weren't super high on him, but I'm one of the few that is high on Dorian Williams. I think he's going to be an absolute stud.
All right. I have to agree with you. Definitely agree with you. Terrell Bernard would be that other guy. I know that Dotson.
Tyrell Dotson, too, yeah.
Dotson as well. But you've convinced me. You've sold me on Dorian Williams. And for me, I think he's the guy. So love to hear what the channel thinks, but we'll find that out as training camp starts. And then I kind of spoiled this what my pick is, but I want to ask you, Jake, and the channel, who you're predicting to be that starting cornerback number 2 this year.
I definitely think, without a question, it has to be Kaiir Elam. You took him in the first round. You got to give him a full season under his belt. It was kind of weird how he didn't technically start his rookie year. You had a fifth-round pick starting or sixth-round pick starting over him, and you just kind of scratch your head at that, wondering what the hell is going on here. Is he just like taking longer to pick up the playbook? Like, defense is usually easy, run and hit people. And as a corner, obviously, there's some more involvement there, especially in his own scheme. But no, it's his time. He down the stretch there, I think he really showcased himself and showed us what he could be. So, yeah, give him a full season under his belt. I think he's going to do just fine in this defense.
I think one of our future shows will be about that. I saw another channel talk about not Benford, but Elam and what happened last year. And we can probably go into a little deeper discussion.
Yeah, Cover One
that.
just had him do a film session.
Actually, a couple of them. I saw the Shout podcast as well. Okay. They talked about him. And then, the Cover One went in deeper on how he's performing, and they broke that down. So good stuff there. All right, Jake, we're at 29 minutes. We could end it, and we can be at our 30 minutes. But what show would be fun without a trivia question?
Oh, let's go, baby.
Jake Podger. All right.
Heck yeah.
I've been looking at a couple of these, but knowing Jake here, he just... Okay. If he gets this one too easy, this is going to be easy. I'm going to start it easy, but next week we'll have a better one. In Super Bowl 25, the Bills became the first team in Super Bowl history to lose by what?
Super Bowl 25. So we're talking, that was 90.
That was the 1990 Super Bowl.
19. Oh, that was
against the Giants.
why? Right. It was 1 point. Yeah.
All right, I figured you'd get that one.
Yeah. No, I was just thinking. Yeah, I had to do some math in my head there.
Let me
so,
throw one more to you. What was the first season for the Buffalo Bills in the American Football League? Taking you way back.
1960.
You sure?
Yeah.
Final answer?
Oh, yeah.
All right, you got it.
They were part of the original AFL. It was the Chiefs, the Bills, the Broncos, the Raiders. Who else? The Jets. I think the Jets. Maybe the Jets were in there. Yeah, I want to say the Jets were in there. There are a couple other teams as well in there that I'm missing, but yeah, they're part of the original AFL. I mean, and it's it's so cool to see these old school, smaller market teams that are being top dogs in the AFC now. Two of those teams, Bills and Chiefs. I think it's so freaking cool. I'm fired up as hell about it.
Yeah, we had a reminder today. We had a retired Chiefs fan who was talking to us old school. He remembered the 60s. And for those that don't remember,
the Chargers, too, were in that, by the way. Sorry.
Remember 1966, the Buffalo Bills played the Kansas City Chiefs for the first time for the AFC championship game to go to the first ever Super Bowl against the Packers. The Bills had beaten the Chiefs earlier in the season. The Chiefs beat the Bills, and they go on to the Super Bowl. Of course, they lose to the Packers. I don't think there was anyone that could have beat the Packers back then.
No, not at all.
Just shows you the history between the Bills and the Chiefs and how far back it goes.
Yeah.
Final trivia question, I promise. Maybe this one will be a little trickier for Jake. I don't know. But this is when he's alive now in 2000. How old are you in 2000, Jake?
I was 7.
At 7
Born in
years
93.
old.
Yeah.
Who led the Bills in sacks?
In 2000. Was that Marcellus Wiley?
Holy crap, this guy's too good. I'm telling you, people.
Remember that one trivia question you gave me? It was like, this man played running back, which threw me off, at Columbia University. And I'm like, there's only one guy that I know. And then you said he was drafted in the second round. And I'm like, there's only one guy I know, first off, drafted out of Columbia. I don't think I know of anyone else really off the top of my head that was drafted out of Columbia. And in the second round. So I'm like, it's got to be Marcellus Wiley. And I remember I got that one. So now another one. That's great. Freaking love it.
Well, great job, Jake. I should have researched these a little bit more. I wasn't going to do the trivia. It was all dependent on, I didn't think we'd have enough time, but we had a few minutes. So
I missed the Patriots too, by the way, for the AFL. There were 8 teams. So we have the Jets, the Bills, the Chiefs, the Patriots, the Raiders, the Chargers.
What, Steelers there?
I don't think they were part of the original AFL, though, because it was in 1960. Who am I missing? Oh, maybe the Oilers, I think. The Oilers.
Oh, wow.
That was the 8th team. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Anyhow, that does it. Under 35 minutes for Jake and I. Fantastic job.
I feel kind of empty right now. I feel like
You feel like we're cheating the folks.
Like we didn't cover enough. I don't know.
We didn't cover enough. Well, I mean, it's a lull. It's hard to find content.
Yeah.
And again, we're not going to beat up topics that have already been beaten up, like Antonio says. Sick of misinformation in the media, behind the septics crap. Yeah, we're tired of it as well. But right now, it's just kind of like, let's hope all of the guys, all the Bills, are taking some time with their families, getting rested, getting their minds ready to go, and then coming in on July 26th into training camp at St. John's Fisher University and just bringing it, and just we're off and running at that point. Then all the things we've been talking about, we're going to see it take place on the field.
Can't wait.
Jake, we did it. Closing thoughts, and let's head on out of here.
Closing thoughts are we are a month and a day away from Bills training camp starting. How exciting is that?
Yes, love it.
Best time of the year, baby. Can't wait.
All right, everyone. Thank you again. If you're new to the channel, like, comment, and drop a nickel on that subscribe button. Take care. We'll see you next Wednesday talking Bengals, Bills. It's going to be a fun one. We need some of you out there to protect Jake and I. Oh, my God. We get beat up even when we're nice.
Yeah, come to our defense in the comment section.
Go.
Holy smokes. Some of these people coming in real hot saying ill-informed, all these other things. We love it, though. We encourage that.
We do.
I want the dialogue between these fan bases. I think it's great. And also, I think it's pretty healthy. You got to have this little bit of banter back and forth. So freaking love it. And, hey, go Bills.
Go Bills.